So, Stranger Things Season 4 just finished, and I gotta say, it wasn't bad. Now, a lot of things are releasing in July. There's a lot of quickies this month, so this one's gonna be an extra quick quickie. You guys may know that I have spent a lot of time dissing Stranger Things, and Season 2 and 3 have disappointed me for various reasons. I made a video on it, I talked about it a lot. And yeah, overall, I still do think that the show should have ended after one season, but despite that, I gotta say, I did not hate this season. I think it's perfectly okay. There's still some things that I don't totally love, though. I think most people can agree when I say the Russia shit is still really bad. It was the worst part of Season 3, and that is still not different here. The episodes in this season are like double the length, and most of that is to cram in this stupid-ass subplot about Hopper being trapped in the gulag. I still personally think Hopper should have just stayed dead, because I think this season would be greatly improved if he was. It's really boring, and it's dumb, and it's extra annoying because the other subplots are actually better. This show works to establish a new big bad, and everything related to him is significantly more interesting than any of that other shit. I actually think having a villain with lines and motivations and a personality is something Stranger Things really needed. Because yeah, Vecna may not be the most complex character, but he's at least a character. And I also like that this season returns to the horror vibe that Season 1 had. The best part about Season 1 is that the characters have to slowly unravel this mystery. We know just about as much as them, and it makes it a lot more exciting. After that, the seasons are mostly based around stuff that we can kind of infer or figure out on our own, and it's not as fun to watch. But a lot of this season is focused on the characters going back to the basics and unraveling a Scooby-Doo-ass mystery. And this season is pretty brutal. Seasons 2 and 3 were kind of tame, but people get pretty fucked up in this one. And honestly, I really like it. It's about time that we were reminded that this series is inspired by Stephen King novels. But again, not every bit of this story worked for me. The series is usually pretty good at converging all of the plot lines into the finale, but the adults in this season are kind of forced into the climax. They have this really weird reasoning where they're like, oh, we actually need to go back and fight because maybe the kids need us to? It's kind of going off of the logic that they watched the show or something. The writers very clearly needed to give the adults something to do in the climax. Also, Eleven's subplot didn't fully work for me the entire time. By the end of her subplot, it did work a lot better once you understand the point of it. But like the Russia subplot, I think the problem is that it's dragged out way too much. Like, it's not a bad subplot, but I think that it really overstays its welcome. I think the extra runtime on these episodes wasn't really worth it for me. I just feel like a lot of the time the story of this show is kind of desperate to stretch its concepts out because, again, this show was never meant to go on this long. But thankfully, the stuff that works well does work very well. Not enough people give credit to the editing in this show. I think the editing is probably my favorite part. The show's always been cut together really well, and I love how it uses the audio in each scene to enhance the dialogue.
Oh, well, somebody has to attend to the customers.
Especially if they're babes, right?
Hey, not fair.
It's a really simple effect that makes the scenes a little snappier. And it goes without saying that, as usual, the performances are always on point. The characters in this show are so charming and charismatic that they can really sell some of this corny-ass dialogue. And honestly, the Vecna mystery really carries this season, and it leaves things off in a way that actually has me somewhat interested in the final season. This is really the stuff that Stranger Things does best. The Scooby-Doo horror mystery. I loved all of the stuff that had to do with Hawkins this season. I really, really enjoyed it. I like Steve and Robin, I like the new guy Eddie, and I love the stuff with Max. She gets a lot to do this season, and she has probably the best scene in the whole show, period. And the way that this season ended, I'm hoping that they don't really have a reason to branch off into dumb, unrelated plot lines. Keep them together, have them focus on one story. I would really like for the last season of Stranger Things to nail the ending. If they can manage that, then maybe I could forgive some of the shortcomings of the rest of the series. Because even though I talk a lot of shit about this show, I'm still gonna watch it. At its worst, it is mindless entertainment, and at its best, it's actually pretty effective at making me feel genuine feelings for these characters that we've spent so much time with. So if you like Stranger Things already, you're probably gonna like this. However, if you have gotten sick of Stranger Things in season 2 and 3, then I think you actually might be surprised by this season. I mean, I sure was. It's not perfect, but it's still fun to watch, and honestly, that's okay sometimes. So I'm going to be nice today, and I'm going to give Stranger Things Season 4 a 7.5 out of 10.
It's great. Like, we're in love and we're partying. Yeah, let's party, huh? Party, we're partying. It's bullshit.